Hello everybody, welcome to another Valheim video. Today I have a video for those of you who are new to this beautiful masterpiece that is Valheim, with some really fascinating biomes and different interactions for you to find and explore. Valheim is a game that is worth savoring. That being said, you do have to know how to play Valheim in a way that shows itself, shows its true glory. And this process is different for everybody. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is how you, as a new player to Valheim, can really enjoy Valheim. I'm not going to teach you all the tips or the best strategies or the most effective way to play. Instead, we're going to go on a quick adventure. And you're going to learn what parts of this game other people really enjoy. Don't worry, I'm not going to be spoiling stuff or telling you how things work or telling you any secrets. We'll just boil down the things that people really love about Valheim, and I'll help you better understand how to find out which of these you might prefer. You can sort of break Valheim down into 3 parts, and this is how the developers tend to talk about it. You've got your intense combat action, right? This is the part of the game where you're fighting stuff and, you might die and it's kind of challenging and you get better. Maybe you have gear and equipment, etc., etc. And then, of course, there's building. And not just fully prefabricated rooms, Valheim allows you to build different pieces and rotate them a bunch of different ways. And at this point, the game has all sorts of unique decorative pieces and different sized pieces. Don't underestimate how powerful the building is in Valheim. Most people don't come for the building, but it is usually what keeps them here. And then for the third type, we only need just look around, right? Exploration. This is a big part of the Valheim world, because after all, it is approximately 20,000 meters in diameter. That's a lot of space. There's a whole lot to explore here, and chances are you will never see even close to a quarter of your entire Valheim world. These are the 3 elements to the game: the combat, building, and exploration. Valheim is a very flexible game, so don't let anyone tell you that you have to play it a certain way, because you don't. It is a remarkably modifiable game, with many world modifiers that I'll quickly explain to you as a new player. Every Valheim world has a bunch of different modifiers, and they encourage you to just play a certain way the first time, but I don't think you have to do that. There's nothing wrong with your first experience using a world modifier. And if it makes you more likely to play, do it. Don't worry. If you're new to world modifiers, the easiest thing to do is just check one of these presets. As you can see, every time I click one, it changes all these different customizing things down here. For now, we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to stick to the basics. The default is normal, and this is a good option if you'd like a mix of combat, building, and exploration. For example, let's say that you're more interested in building. You just want to practice building a little bit before you get started in actually playing Valheim for real. Well, what you could do is try Hammer Mode. Hammer Mode is essentially Valheim's free build option. In Hammer Mode, you just need to pick up a resource once, and then you'll be able to build everything made out of it. Hammer Mode also puts all monsters into passive, which means that they're going to ignore you unless you attack them first. This makes Hammer Mode a particularly good option if you're playing with younger family members or somebody who's brand new into the game or new to games in general and wants a more approachable game world that isn't trying to kill them. Hammer Mode is also a fantastic way to just kind of get used to things in the beginning. That way, when you actually do the main survival mode, you'll have more fun because it won't be as overwhelming at first. And you can change world modifiers whenever you want, so it's not something that you only have to pick once when you make a world. Now, let's say you're a more comfortable gamer, and what you're interested in is a more challenging experience. You might want to try Immersive Mode, which turns off no map and no portals. But this really is something that most people can't handle, so it's probably too much for you. Most people interested in a more challenging experience would either go for hard or hardcore, which changes death mechanics and the world difficulty, but still allows you to teleport things around. If it feels too overwhelming, then don't even worry about it. Just play it normally. It'll be fine. So let's say that you do that. You make a new world on Valheim. How do you have the best experience now that you're a little bit more familiar with it? The first thing to note is that Valheim is very much a game that rewards patience and organization. There's a few ways that Valheim rewards organization and preparation, but you can look at the rested mechanic real quick. See that top right part where it says 12 minutes rested? That makes you a lot stronger, your stamina replenishes faster, everything's better when you're rested. One of the easiest mistakes to make when you're playing in the beginning is underestimating how powerful that buff really is. You're meant to have it all the time and be concerned if you don't. Another way that Valheim encourages organization and preparation is all of the items, and this is something that can absolutely bog people down, because a lot of the game is about inventory management, moving stuff around, moving around little icons. And yeah, they say you're not supposed to use mods in the beginning, but let me be real with you. This game is amazing, even if you use like a 800-page inventory. It's just not necessary to avoid client-side mods that change your inventory. You're going to have more fun if you do something to relieve your inventory pressure. But maybe you'll be lucky, because this is a problem that doesn't really show itself until later on in the game. So if you just play the earlier parts of the game, you don't really need to worry about it that much. You don't need to make a perfectly organized system all the time. That being said, if you do want to check out some quality of life mods, you could use Azu Extended Player Inventory. It just makes the inventory bigger. There are also some other really cool mods that allow you to craft items from containers nearby, and this reduces a significant amount of the inventory burden, because otherwise you have to remember where everything is and get it and put it in your inventory every single time you want to craft or upgrade something, and it becomes very time consuming. But don't worry, I'm not going to make this a video about mods. We're going to move on, because there's still 2 more pieces to this puzzle that you should know about to get the most fun out of the game. The first is multiplayer, and the second is sailing. I'm going to start by telling you a bit about multiplayer. Valheim itself is actually a really fun game, single player. Don't get me wrong. But it is a lot harder. That being said, Valheim's multiplayer is what makes it shine. The moment you start playing Valheim with some kind of community who loves Valheim as much as you do is a life-changing moment. It is magical. What this game does for community development is nuts. There's just something magical about it. I don't know how to explain it, but a Valheim world that has other people in it is endlessly more interesting than a Valheim world where you're playing alone. And this is just something to consider, because if you're playing single player and you're new to Valheim, then it's probably still going to be really fun. But you might get to a point where you start to feel like it's a bit boring because things are too predictable, or maybe it's too challenging, or you just don't feel interested anymore. That's where I would strongly encourage you to try joining a server or finding other people to play with. Sometimes it can be hard to find groups of Valheim players, not just people playing games and they happen to be playing Valheim for a month. You want to get in with the people who work on worlds passionately. These are the places where you have these crazy next level experiences. But ultimately, it's all about just finding some other people that you can have fun with the game with. That's when it starts having that sort of MMO-like feeling, and these people will play Valheim for thousands of hours. Some people like combat and all of the nuances that it brings, whereas other people prefer to explore and just see all of the beautiful scenery that Valheim has to offer. Or maybe you're just having fun building, starting with a simple project and then elaborating it as time passes, getting more resources, and continue. Ultimately though, it doesn't really matter, because no matter what your preference of these 3, it still shines more when you play with other people as well. That's really where the magic of Valheim comes out. And I'd be willing to go as far as to say that if you haven't played Valheim in multiplayer with other people who are passionate about the game, you just haven't played Valheim. Like, to be honest, it's by far the most fascinating and interesting part. It's what makes this game so worthwhile. That brings us back to sailing. The final thing that I'm going to give you some advice on. Sailing is both the best and one of the worst parts of Valheim. Many people's favorite experiences and their best memories with their friends happens inside one of these boats, and all of the crazy adventures that can happen with a group of people getting in a boat together. You just jump in that ship and you don't even really know where it's going to go, and it really can be incredible. but sailing is also quite a hit or miss experience. And I'm just giving you this warning because sailing is really awesome, but it also has the potential to create some moments that cause people to quit. If you're gonna sail and you don't really know what you're doing, I encourage you to stay really close to the land. Always keep the land in sight and assume that if you step in a boat, you're probably gonna die. In addition to the risks of sailing, it's also incredibly disrespectful of people's time. You're often gonna find while you're sailing that you need to go the direction that the wind is coming from, so this leaves you up to the mercy of the wind and the weather, which of course is very realistic, but I don't think that your partner appreciates the fact that you saying, "I'm just sailing home," could mean anywhere from 20 minutes to 3 hours. So just some words of caution about sailing, you know? It can be incredibly fun, but it can also burn you, so be careful. Sailing down rivers is a wonderful way to get the best out of the boat's experience without all of the perils and the boredom that might befall you if you end up windless in the middle of the ocean with the time commitment that you've already overstayed. But honestly, don't worry about it too much. You don't need to think too hard and make too many decisions. Just take your time with this gem. Valheim really is a masterpiece, and if you take the time to enjoy it, you're going to understand what I mean when I say that. There's so many things that make this game special, and I could go on and on and on and on about them. But for now, I'm not going to do that. I need to focus on what's going on with you, the new player. Because you people are the most important people to this game. So if there's anything that you want to learn about Valheim, if there's anything that you're curious about, just comment, let me know. I'll make a video completely just for you. I'll make a tutorial just out of one comment. I'm looking to make a lot of content for new players in particular because I want to help people have more fun with this wonderful masterpiece that is Valheim. So if that sounds interesting to you, just comment below. Let me know what kind of things you want to learn about, or what you're scared of, or what was really confusing for you when you started to play the game. Alternatively, if you want to support my work, then you could consider trying my overhaul of Valheim called Enigma Mode. Enigma Mode reworks Valheim from the ground up using stuff that's already in the game. Enigma Mode adds hundreds of different mechanics. It's made to morph Valheim into a more long-lasting, community-driven experience that has more emphasis on building than the traditional game does. Alternatively, if you want to just support me on Patreon, that's incredibly helpful, and I'm very grateful for all of you who have done so far. I actually spilled tea on my laptop recently and was able to finance a new computer partially with Patreon money, so thank you so much for all of your support. It genuinely makes a big difference in my life, and if Patreon's too much for you, then don't worry. All you need to do is just like the video, to be honest, and it doesn't even have to be my video. You know, I'm on Team Valheim. I don't care who you watch, and find some other content creators that you might enjoy and make sure to like their videos, or you can just like this video. All of these actions really help YouTube reward the content creators more, and that really helps the Valheim scene. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that you have a wonderful experience in Valheim.